Dr. Pickens, you ready to get started?
Absolutely, yep.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Stephanie Devine. I'm the Executive Director of Eagle Academy. I work as a faculty member and Assistant Professor of Special Education at Georgia Southern. So I serve in more of an advisory capacity. I help Dr. Pickens with general planning and implementation of our program, including program evaluation, ongoing program development and problem solving, and events like these, which are open house session, that we are so glad you are able to join us today to go through. A couple of housekeeping things before I let Dr. Pickens introduce herself. If you have questions, go ahead and add them to the chat. Dr. Pickens and I are going to take turns talking about each slide, and the other one is going to kind of monitor the chat space. We're going to also give you the opportunity to access a link to find out more information from us. You can fill out a quick form about that as we go. So we will, here and there, as we see questions pop up, we'll try to address them. We will also have a time for questions at the end. So get those questions ready, I guess. Again, this is going to be recorded, so if you are concerned about your privacy, just go ahead and keep your video off. You should be able to also change your name. The recording, I believe, I've tried to set up my Zoom so I wouldn't record your names in it, but I can't promise that 100% will work. So just a heads up, full disclosure on that one. Okay, Dr. Pickens, go ahead.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Julie Pickens. I'm the program director for Eagle Academy. I work with the wonderful Dr. Stephanie Devine to help facilitate and run Eagle Academy. I work a lot more with the day-to-day, the teaching of the classes, interacting with the students, helping to monitor and coordinate all of the peer mentors, looking at the student schedules. And I'm really excited that you guys can join us tonight, and I'd love to tell you more about Eagle Academy. So Eagle Academy, it is an inclusive post-secondary program here in Georgia. And Dr. Stephanie Devine is going to tell you a little bit more about inclusive post-secondary education in general, as well as some of the programs here in Georgia.
Sorry, my cursor kept disappearing. Anyway, so what is an inclusive post-secondary education program? Well, they are programs that are relatively new to this country within the last 10 years or so, about 12 years now, with the Higher Education Act, when the federal government decided they would give individuals with intellectual disabilities access to federal financial aid in the form of Pell Grants to access post-secondary education programs, potentially in college settings. So here we are, 12 years later, still working on developing and promoting programs such as these on a variety of college campuses across the country. And these programs are specifically designed for students with intellectual and or developmental disabilities who wouldn't be able to access college through the typical avenues of admission into college. Serves students who are motivated to be productive community members. Programs like these are their main purpose and goal is to help students gain access to competitive integrated employment. So we are looking for folks who are interested in furthering their career opportunities and becoming independent and productive community members. We focus on several things in inclusive post-secondary education programs. We look at academic enrichment. We want our students to improve in their academic skills. But we also look at working on social skills, independent living skills. Self-determination is a huge, huge part of programs like these. And then, I can't, my screen is, hold on. And career development, sorry, my screen's being crazy. Another big component of what we work on is career development skills. We help students look at and consider different types of career paths, take courses that align with their interests, and help them work on those soft skills that are so important in career development as well. Most programs that fall into this category are non-degree seeking university certificate programs. Because our students don't come through the typical admission pathways, they're often not able to get the university diplomas like a bachelor's or master's, et cetera, degrees. So they will typically fall under a non-degree seeking category, program of study, but it does vary from college and university settings. So when you're exploring your options, make sure you take a close look at that. As I mentioned, there are programs like these across the entire country, over 280 now in every state except for West Virginia. And I believe that West Virginia is working on starting a program. So I'm not sure that it's totally up and running yet, but I know that they're starting to work on that. So they're all over. And if you take a look at this map here, you'll see different states have different numbers of programs like these. thinkcollege.net is a great resource if you're exploring these options, because you can, this is actually where this map comes from, I believe. You click on the state and it'll list the different programs in that state and where they're located. And then usually you can drill down to find out more about each program. Every year there are more than 700 students that leave Georgia high schools that could potentially qualify for programs like this, but we only have 9 of them in the state, with a 10th that I know is in development. They're hoping to open next fall in Middle Georgia, I believe. Excuse me. So there's a lot of students who really don't have a place to go when they're done with high school. And we're hoping that we can keep growing these programs and providing broader opportunities for students who are interested in doing college, who are interested in pursuing a career in a competitive, integrated environment, inclusive environment. And we're excited that you're here to learn more about it.
So Georgia is very lucky because we actually have 9 programs, with our 10th coming up, as Dr. Devine had said. And each one of these programs are wonderful in their own aspects, and they bring a different aspects and different capacities to the students of Georgia, students with disabilities who might want to access post-secondary education. For instance, Albany Tech, students can go there and they can get a technical degree from Albany Tech. Georgia State specializes specifically in multimedia and the arts. Each one of these programs brings a wonderful aspect to education and college here in Georgia. I'm partial to Georgia Southern and Eagle Academy, of course, but these are all fantastic programs, and they really can serve most of the students within Georgia that might have an interest in going into inclusive post-secondary education. There's on-campus housing options denoted with that star. There's options for students that, might want to do more of a commuting option. They're set up to model the typical 4-year program that students would have. So some universities within this program, within this capacity, they're 4-year programs. Some of them are 2-year programs. East Georgia, for instance, is a year 1-2 program. And a lot of times students will go to East Georgia and then they may transfer to another university. That's actually what happens frequently with some of the students in Eagle Academy, because Eagle Academy is specifically a year 3-4 program. So let me tell you a little bit more about Eagle Academy. So Eagle Academy actually stands for Equal Access to Gainful Learning and Employment. And that's really what we focus on. We focus quite a bit on gainful learning and employment, focus a lot on housing and career development. As I mentioned, we are the last 2 years of a 4-year program. We're a year 3-4. So a lot of the students that come into our program spend some time either working before they come, or they might attend another IPSE program before they come along. We are currently looking at starting or getting a CTP to have a year 1-2 program, but currently we are a year 3-4. Hopefully, you know, as in the next couple of years, we'll have that up and running, which will be fantastic. We are a non-degree seeking program at the moment. Students can take classes either for audit or for credit. Most of our students do decide to take classes for credit, and we work with the professors to set up a program of study that the students are interested in, that will really get them that foot in the door and get them ready for gainful employment once they leave Eagle Academy. While they're at Georgia Southern, they have full access to everything on campus. They live on campus. They pay full tuition and fees. They attend football games. They go to the RAC, which is our exercise facility. They have access to all of the wonderful resources at Georgia Southern, as well as those academic classes and Eagle Academy classes, which Dr. Devine will tell you a little bit more about in a little bit. So academics is definitely a really big part of what we do at Eagle Academy, but so is housing and independent living and career development, hence our name. So when students come into Eagle Academy, we really want them to live on campus, to have that full college experience. And we spend a lot of time focusing and working with them on internships so that they can gain those skills and they can gain job readiness skills so that they are ready to be gainfully employed once they leave Eagle Academy with their certificate of achievement. While students are in some of these classes, they do have the opportunity often to earn some industry recognized certificates. We have students that have earned certificates in coaching, in inclusive recreation. So we always try to partner with departments whenever possible that have existing credentials to make sure that our students have access to those as well. Also, when students take the classes for credit, if they decide to go on and further their education at a technical school or community college, a lot of times those credits can transfer to those schools as well. And another fantastic thing about Eagle Academy and all of the inclusive post-secondary programs in Georgia currently is that they're comprehensive transition programs, which means that students are able to gain financial aid or have access to financial aid because they've been rated as high quality programs that provide a wonderful service to students with disabilities.
Thank you, Dr. Pickens. I do want to clarify that the financial aid that our students are available to receive come in the form of Pell Grants and work study. They are not able to access student loans, federal student loans. So I just want to give that heads up there. That is a pretty big difference between our program and others. But let me talk first here about person-centered planning. Person-centered planning plays a huge role in how we design programs for our students. Georgia Southern has a wide variety of wonderful majors and programs. So we don't really have certain tracks that students need to go into. What we do actually is work with the individual student and his or her support system, so family and whoever may be involved in that's important to them in their life scope. And what we do is a person-centered plan. You'll see a picture here called that's called the STAR chart, because we use the STAR person-centered planning method with our students. So we will meet with them at the beginning of their time with us, and then we use this process of person-centered planning each semester as we gauge what the students' goals are currently, because they probably change, both long-term and short-term. We focus on what supports they're needing, what their strengths are, how we can play to their strengths. And in particular, we look at 5 main areas, and that would be employment, lifelong learning, campus and community engagement, self-determination, and independent living. So we, as a group, create goals with the student at the center. The person is at the center of this whole plan. Goals surrounding those different categories. And then we design a program of study that's individual to that student that aligns with those goals and the offerings we have here at Georgia Southern. So how does it work class-wise? So at least 50% of the coursework students in Eagle Academy take are part of the existing Georgia Southern courses that are open to all students. The first semester is usually a kind of a set of courses that surround first year experience that every new student at Georgia Southern takes. And it's just really getting familiar with how to do college and how to be successful in a college environment. And then they also take a career exploration course that's open to every student where they it's basically as named. They explore different careers, they build a resume, they practice interviewing skills, they attend career fairs and look for different types of jobs. That's what that course is aligned and designed to do. Then they also take a physical activity course of some kind because we all need to stay healthy in all aspects of our lives. That includes staying active. So that first semester, they will take those courses as well as an Eagle Academy class that's designed specifically for our students that focuses on career readiness, independent living, life skills, and financial literacy in particular. This is also where we can work on the individual goals each student has according to their person-centered plan. So when we're taking the Georgia Southern classes, after that first kind of prescribed semester, that's when we really look at specific courses that align with students' career interests, their skill interests, their and it's not always just classes about career interests. Some of it's, different hobbies or particular skills that they're interested in or content that they're interested in. It really is it's person-centered, so it will be individualized. Students do receive accommodations in those classes through Eagle Academy. So we work together with the professor of that course and the student to determine whether they will be taking the course for credit, in which case they will be able to receive certain types of accommodations. Or if they decide to take it for audit, we may put together a modified course syllabus for that individual student where they will meet the requirements of that audit negotiation we all make, but they won't be receiving course credit, but they're going to get whatever they can out of that course. Program staff are available to work with instructors to make sure classes are accessible to our students. And someone asked in the chat, do they receive modifications as well as accommodations? And it depends on whether they're taking a course for credit or audit. We can't provide modifications if they're taking a course for credit because that invalidates the credit structure of the course. But if this is still a course that will be meaningful for the student and they want to take it for audit, then we will help the instructor provide the modifications needed. Great question. Anything to add to that, Dr. Pickens? No? Okay. I'm going to let Dr. Pickens talk about one of our primary supports in providing those modifications and accommodations, and those are our peer mentors.
Yeah, absolutely. So, peer supports are really important and critical to the successful transition and the successful integration of our students into the college environment, into the college experience. So we find that, these peer mentors really help the students to have a wonderful experience at Eagle Academy. And it's a wonderful experience for both the mentors and for the Eagle Academy students that they mentor. So we really do this in three main ways. The first two ways kind of fall under academics. The first way are our peer coaches. So they assist the mentees in setting goals, setting weekly goals, setting academic goals. They meet with the students regularly to review the goal progress, to kind of talk about how the student is working through, how they're integrating into Georgia Southern, how they're being included in their classes and in the campus environment. And then the other academic peer mentors that we have serve as academic mentors in the class with the students. So they attend the inclusive classes with the students as a mentee. A lot of times we can actually find a peer mentor in that class that's already taking the class for credit and is very much invested in the class and is just willing to work with the student, help tutor, help to mentor, help take notes and share their notes. And we find, a lot of times this works out even better because the students are already invested in the class as well as being invested in the Eagle Academy students. And then we also have social mentors because we know that, college isn't just about academics. It's a big part, but, the social aspect of college is critical. So these mentors help the mentee find clubs and organizations on campus, possibly introduce them to clubs, introduce them to other people on campus. They might attend activities or go to a group fitness class and kind of be an accountability partner to go to yoga every week or to, eat well in the dining hall. And they just help the students engage in the community and on campus. And I've heard, from some of our peer mentors that the Eagle Academy students help them to be more engaged and help them meet new people and have wonderful experiences. So another way that we really work to support our students is through career development. A big part of Eagle Academy is that maintaining and gaining gainful employment once the students leave Eagle Academy. And we help set them up for that in many different ways. One of the ways is definitely through career coaching by all of the staff within Eagle Academy. This happens in classes, this happens in one-on-one meetings, as well as with the peer mentors and with others in Eagle Academy. We also make sure that the students are keeping up to date their resume and their portfolios. We are in a huge transition time as a world. We're moving very virtual, everything's online, everything's through Zoom. So we try and make sure that our students are making that switch too, and that they are ready for whatever the world throws at them, for virtual interviews, for Zoom interviews, for, presenting their work a couple of different ways. So we always make sure that they're updating and adapting to the virtual and digital world. We also do this through internships. Internships play a huge part of students' time at Eagle Academy. So they do multiple internships through their time at Eagle Academy, both on campus and off campus when possible. So, the students do internships both in their focus area and a lot of times also to gain other employment skills that will help them to be successful long-term. And a lot of times we can work with different partners on campus and off campus to have these be paid internships or unpaid internships. It's really whatever in the best interest of the student and the organization that we're working with. But internships do play a huge part in what we do here at Eagle Academy.
So the first year students are with us, they are required to live on campus because we truly believe that there are humongous gains in independence and self-determination in that experience of living on campus in the residence hall with their peers as opposed to living at home. So that is a big part of our program, and it is part of the program requirements to live on campus that first year especially. Students do need to be their own guardian if they are 18 or older, so that is an important component to consider. You will be able to choose from a limited selection of housing options that second year. It depends on the needs and independence levels of the student after that first year in Eagle Academy. That would be part of our person-centered planning process for the next year, because obviously we need families, support groups that, to be and the student to all be together on the same page as to where they want their student to live that second year of the program. But there is also on-campus housing available for our students that second year as well. If they want to have 2 years on campus, that's completely great, awesome, and handy. The housing that students live in is it's bleh. Let me try that again. Whew. They live on campus in one of our residence halls that is very close to the center of campus life, to our main dining hall, to our student union and all of that. So they're within walking distance from everything that they need on campus, and also to the shuttle buses that go all around campus and to some nearby stores, etc., for the university. I know that I'm sure you will have lots more questions, but here's some basic things to be thinking about. Even if your student is still in high school, still in the early stages of high school, what you want to do is right now is schedule a meeting with Voc Rehab, Georgia GVRA. Voc Rehab will pay for will provide a limited amount of funding for programs like Eagle Academy, but you have to have a case open with them, and you have to have attending an IPSE program as your goal, your work goal, your employment goal that you work up with Voc Rehab. And that process can take a while. So that's something you want to start early and start working with a case manager on that as soon as you can. Also, we would recommend putting money towards an ABLE account. In Georgia, it's actually a Georgia Stable account, and I will in a little bit post the link to that in our chat. But an ABLE account allows families and individuals that receive support receive SDI funding. It allows you to save money for things like college, a house, items you might need for employment. You can save us up to $100,000 over several years without it affecting your SDI, if that is a concern of yours. So that's a really great way to save for college for students with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So be looking into that as a family. You also want to start gathering paperwork, because we do need a lot of paperwork for the application process. We have a full list of all of that on our website. You see our website listed there at the bottom. We have a full list of the application material requirements. We do have an early admission kind of boost so if you can get everything in by December 15th, then you will kind of get first dibs on our openings for next fall, and we'll be able to start the interview process with you earlier on. So I encourage you to look into that if that is a goal of yours for the fall. After December 15th, we will still be accepting applications, but we will have a deadline toward the end of February, because after that, it really gets hairy trying to get all the paperwork through Voc Rehab and our university systems in order to get you the classes you need by fall. So believe it or not, all of that stuff happens pretty quickly. So you'll need to get all application materials in for sure in February, or we just won't have the time to get everything processed for this next coming year. As soon as we get all of those materials in, we'll start setting up an interview, and then the goal is to have acceptance letters sent out in April. Anything to add to that, Dr. Pickens?
No, I think that definitely covers it. I can't, stress enough, as you did, Dr. Devine, that, connecting with VR, if you would like their support, is a very critical part. You really can't connect with VR too early, and, make IPSE, your goal, because, it is a great goal, but, there is quite a bit that, may go into, setting up for success in attending an IPSE program. And so, connect with VR, make sure that you're looking at those ABLE accounts, and, just that you're ready to attend an IPSE program, because there's fantastic programs like Eagle Academy, and we would love to have you. And I would love to talk to you guys more about, Eagle Academy. You can contact me at 912-478-8842. That rings into Eagle Academy, or at eagleacademy@georgiasouthern.edu. Thank you so much for taking the time to, come to our presentation in our open house tonight. And I would just kind of like to open it up to questions now for both myself, Dr. Devine, and just in general.
I'm also trying to get to the chat on this main screen, which is a little tricky when I'm also sharing the PowerPoint. So hang on a sec. We do have a question. How long has your program been in operation? This will be our, this fall will be our 4th year with students. So we're still pretty new. We've graduated 2 classes now. So 4 students total have graduated. Each year we kind of grow a little bit. We have 5 that are heading into graduation this year. Things with COVID have sort of changed a lot of stuff. Caused obviously everyone some challenges when it comes to going to college or getting jobs. So we're working through a whole new crazy world, as you know, but and we're learning a lot as we go, that's for sure, especially the switch to all the virtual everything. But you know what's been awesome is our students in the program, they really just rolled with that switch to virtual instruction last year. And it was amazing to see how easily they adapted to those changes. Okay, I am posting the Google interest form link. If you are interested in having us contact you, that is a good way to start. If you fill that out, we'll contact you. We have another question. What is your ideal student? It's a good question. Dr. Pickens, you want to talk about that?
Sure. So I would say that our ideal student is a student that, you know, is motivated to learn, motivated to be at Georgia Southern. Is, you know, it always helps if they're an Eagle fan, you know, and, you know, they're coming in. I would say that a student who is independent enough to be able to live on their own and, you know, motivated to learn, kind of know what their career goals are. That's definitely helpful, since, you know, we do focus a lot on, you know, setting the students up in those internships, as well as, you know, having them set up a program of study within the departments at Georgia Southern. So when students are coming in and they know roughly what they want to focus on, and it's something that, you know, Georgia Southern can offers a program in, you know, I think that that's definitely our ideal student, is someone who's independent enough to live on their own, but still open to learn and wants to learn a lot of those skills to help them both academically and to have gainful employment.
Thank you for that. We had another question. Before I get into that, I just want to tell you I posted the link to our Eagle Academy website. I also posted the link to the Georgia Able or Stable account information. I then posted a link to the Think College parent resources page, because it's a really great place broadly for parents and families to look at, you know, how do I do this for my child? Because I know many families never thought that this would be an opportunity for their son or daughter, and so they didn't necessarily plan for that. So that's a great resource for you all. The question on here in the chat says, given the sensitive nature of students within the program, how are issues with students in the program handled in regards to medical concerns, homesickness, behavioral issues? Are there specific people on campus to help them work through these things? Those are really great questions. And some of that speaks to a student, whether a student is ready to attend a program like Eagle Academy or any college setting. So keep in mind, students do need to have a level of independence when it comes to taking their own medication, or at least being able to talk with us. We can provide supports in helping them, you know, redo their prescriptions or set up their doctor's appointments, but we are not going to do it all for them. So it's kind of someone who's got to be able to at least work with us on that. And then homesickness, that's a tough one for everybody. So we do have access, our students have access to all the same services any other Georgia Southern student has. So they have access to our counseling center, where they can, if there's, you know, a deeper issue, or they're just feeling really some mental health concerns, that's a great place to start. We also work closely with our students. So if we see that happening, we're going to we're going to work with them on that issue. And then if needed, we're definitely going to connect them with that counseling center and provide the transition supports to get them there and to access that environment.
And one thing that I'll definitely add to that, I neglected to mention while we were talking is, we also have graduate assistants and teaching assistants that work with us that, provide supports to the students. And they're a great bridge for the students, because they are a little bit older than the students a lot of the time, but they also, are Georgia Southern students themselves and, are engaged on campus. And we've been very fortunate to have some great graduate assistants these past couple of years to our, one even works, does her internship within the counseling center. And they're also very attuned to, what's going on with these students, helping them to adjust, helping them to kind of make that bridge into college. We also have a very close working relationship with the housing department since we are a residential program and the students live on campus. And, we have fantastic residence assistants and residence directors that work with us that support the students. This year we lucked out and one of our wonderful peer mentors was also the residence assistant for the students. So, she already had some of the training and some of the background to provide some of those supports. But I will stress, like Dr. Devine said, that it is critical that the students have a level of independence that they would find success living on campus.
Great question. Thank you for that. If you all think of questions later, we welcome you to contact us. Dr. Pickens mentioned the phone number for Eagle Academy and the email address that you see there on the screen. Those are great ways, or as I mentioned, you could fill out the interest form and we'll contact you. We do have a question asking, did you say there are courses through Eagle Academy? Yes, they will take at least one class, either 3 or 6 credit class in Eagle Academy each semester to work on those specialized skills. Primarily, especially the farther they go, we're working more and more on those career soft skills and job coaching skills. But that's also where we will touch on helping build their self-determination and their independent living skills, financial awareness, working on budgeting. Those are kind of key parts of the Eagle Academy courses. So those are specialized classes for Eagle Academy itself. And then we support the students in their internships as well. You're welcome.
I will say, mentioning the internships, we were very lucky this semester and we're able to transition all of the students that wanted internships into digital virtual internships, throughout the semester. So that's definitely, we're learning to be more flexible, as are the students, to make sure the students are getting those supports and getting those experiences. So, we're always learning, we're always growing. So, we're always changing to, make sure that we're supporting the students and supporting their academic and especially their career goals.
Thank you again, everyone, for joining us this evening. We really appreciate it. Share with others that that might be interested as well. We're going to post this virtual open house on our website so that people who weren't able to come today can watch it later. And we're happy to answer any questions that you might have. So anything else, Dr. Pickens? Oh, wait. Thank you for the information. I will share with the adults who attend our program. Thank you very much, Tony. We appreciate that.
Just thank you, everyone, for joining us. And like I said, I'm more than happy to talk to you about any and everything about Eagle Academy. And those are the best ways to contact me. So thank you so much for joining us this evening.